Hello, hello everyone. I hope this is working. I'm on my own tonight, so we'll see if this is good. If you guys can see me, let me know in the chat, and I will try to follow what's going on. So we'll give it a bit too to try to let a few people join. Let me pull things up here. So yeah, welcome everyone. It's good to see you. Good to see you all on the channel. I'm seeing chats come in, so hopefully that's good. Things are working out. Some awesome people. I'm really excited to talk with you guys tonight and to be doing this live. I'm actually lucky it worked. For those of you that maybe were waiting before, I did schedule a stream yesterday. I was planning on doing it with my laptop, with my Canon M50 like I did last time, but just a bit ago, the internet got killed here at my house. So I switched it over as quick as I could to my cell phone. So we're streaming with my cell phone right now, which seems to be working. And actually, since I did that change, the Wi-Fi is back up here at my house, but we're having issues. So hopefully this will all work out for all you guys. So hello everyone. I see the Acorn Project. Hello from England, Max. Hello from California. Yeah. So I wanted to do this live, one to celebrate and to thank everyone for the 100,000 subscribers. That it's been an awesome journey. I've really enjoyed all the bike stuff I've been doing for the last about a year now. The first bike that I did on my channel was last September. About this time last year, I did my Kona and my Kona explosive, and that went really great. It was because of that video actually that I soon got my first sponsor or partner, and that was with Spray Bike, who have been really great. I've really enjoyed having them as a partner on my channel, and to be able to do so many fun rebuilds using Spray Bike paint. And I also wanted to thank Park Tools for having faith in me a little over 6 months ago also, and partnering up with me, and the help that they've given by giving me access to great tools that would have been it would have been much more difficult to do all the stuff I've been able to do without their support. So I'm grateful for that. So I wanted to get to you guys. You guys have got lots of comments going on. For this update, I wanted to talk a little bit about where I see myself going with this channel in the future. I plan on doing a lot more bike content. I have a few builds that I wanted to show you guys tonight that I have in the works. One of those is right here, and there's a couple over there that I plan on working on here soon in the future. The first one actually that's right behind me, and these are a continuation of what I've always been doing, is actually a bike. So a month or so ago, I did a Gary Fisher build that I planned on giving away to a kid in the community, which I actually did. I gave it away to a girl in the area who wanted to get into mountain biking and was looking for one. And because of me donating that to her, her father actually gave me his old mountain bike that was kind of in pieces, missing a few things. And that's what this build is. And this build will also probably be one that I give away to another kid in the community. I have someone in mind for it, but I'll be building that up and probably giving that away. Before I give it away though, I may ride it a bit to see how it is. So that's one of the plans. I do plan on continuing to do bike builds, but I wanted to know from you guys, what are some of the things that you would like to see on this channel? And so I'll look at the chat. I'll try to follow along with this. I'm not very good at this live stream thing. But I'd like to see, what are some things that you would like to see happen on my YouTube channel? And I'll take notes. So let's see, bike builds, suspension upgrades, period correct vintage builds. I do want to do that, actually. I do want to do period correct vintage builds. Oh, these are coming in too fast. Let's see. Love to see builds where you modernize old bikes. I'd like to see alternatives for some stuff. E-bike content. Okay. Not too much for old e-bikes. Pretty much any restoration. Tutorials. Okay, tutorials, that's one you guys ask for quite a bit. And I could do that. When it comes to how to do things, I've always felt like there's some great people out there that have great stuff already. But I do know that there's some stuff that I do that no one really shows much of. I know a lot of you wanted to know how I do my stickers. I actually tried to do a screen capture once for one of my builds and it didn't work. So I need to try again. I did the whole thing, spent hours. Sometimes it takes several hours to redo the decals and the stickers that I make, because typically I draw them all out myself on Illustrator and then upload them and then create them with my Cricut vinyl printer. So I'll look about doing some of that. That is some that I think I could do, and tutorials on some of the other things. I do want to do a few more like tips and tricks videos like the one I did. Let's see. Tool restoration techniques, crossover to bikes like a copper-plated frame. I actually like that. That's from Joe D. Copper-plated frame would be super cool. I actually do have in the works a build. Let me grab it. So I do have. So this is a hoodoo frame that I plan on doing soon. This build, I plan on, well, this is the plan, and hopefully it doesn't change too much. I plan on stripping it down to the bare steel, and instead of painting it to do the graphics, I want to try using steel bluing techniques. So I know a few frame builders have done this, and I want to give it a try, though. I think it would make for a really cool frame. Since it's a steel frame, it should blue really well. So that's the plan with this bike. And on this one also, it'll give me the opportunity to thank another company who's been great. They provided some parts for my Ritchie build. So Paul Components has sent me out some components that will be going on this bike. So when I blue it, we'll have some cool Paul Components being built up with this bike, as well as a headset from Chris King. So this one should be a fun one, and this should be coming up, if all goes well, it should be coming up this month. So look for that later this month. So that's not quite copper plating, but I have thought about that. To copper plate a frame or things like that, it would require a large tub of acid. and I'm a little hesitant to do that, but I think that'd be cool. So let me get back to seeing what are some of the others. Tutorial, self-service. Can you fix up a cheap bike at a reasonable cost? So I think I have done a few of these. The bike I was mentioning before, this next bike, this is a Gary Fisher Big Sur that I'm mid-process in building up. The bike that I did for the daughter of the guy that gave me this bike, was the Gary Fisher Mamba, I think is what it was called. The Gary Fisher Mamba build video. So that one, I got that frame at the thrift store for $15, and then all I spent on it was I did get new cables, new cheap plastic pedals. I didn't even replace the tires. The tires were okay, and grips, I think. And I think I spent under $50 total on that build. So there's a lot that you can do to rebuild a bike. It does depend on whether or not the components are in good shape. And in that case, actually, I swapped the bottom bracket with another bottom bracket I did have. The rear derailleur was kind of meh. So I put an old STX rear derailleur on that and an Alivio crankset. Those were all parts that were in my part bin. You could add those and consider that part of the cost, but I do think that that's a low cost rebuild. The paint, though, it was all paint that I had left over from other builds from Spray Dot Bike, but to do that, to have ordered the paint, it might have cost a bit more. But there's a lot of things that you can do. You don't always have to paint a bike to restore it. But I will continue to do inexpensive, cheap, reasonable rebuilds. Let's see, what are some of the other comments here? My favorite is old tools. I get this a lot, and I've debated what to do. I love fixing old tools, and actually I have, for those that love axes, I do love axes. If you've looked through my channel and you've only been watching the bike stuff, I did several axes before I did any bikes, and I'm an avid axe collector. I've actually filmed but not released at least a few axe rebuilds since I've been deep into bike content, but I'm always hesitant because it confused YouTube now. When I do that, it lowers. I get less views than I would have if I continued, I think, to do tools and axes. And so I'm not sure what to do. I keep thinking maybe I'll try teaching YouTube that I do both. I don't know. YouTube's weird. At the same time, I love the bike stuff. I love working with the companies I've started to partner with, and it's made me lean a lot more to the bikes. If this did really well and I could quit my job, even though I hit 100,000, I have 5 kids and 2 of them in college, and they're not cheap. So I'm not ready to quit my job and just go straight YouTube, like maybe some who have less fiscal responsibilities. And I'm not making that much. I'm spending most of what I make on more bike stuff. So, any Cannondales? If I find some, yes, I'll do more Cannondales. I love the pink beast that I have. My nephew actually wants to buy it off me. He really loves it. Let's see, any other, let's see, let me scroll up through the comments. A guitar restoration. I'd actually like to do that. Again, though, I'm not sure. I think it would confuse YouTube. Maybe I need to start a second channel where I do just odd restorations, like a guitar, or like the canoe I did. Probably my most underrated restoration is the canoe I did last summer. If you haven't watched that, go watch it. It's one of my favorite videos, but it took me to like 2 months to do it. Raw metal frame build, any GT full suspension. The raw metal, yes. Well, I do plan on doing that hoodoo in raw metal, but then doing the bluing. A GT full suspension, if I find one, yes. But I do have, it's probably a good chance to talk about this one. So this is another one that's in the works. I'm still collecting parts for this. But this is an S-Works, I think it's a 2003 or 4, specialized enduro, S-Works enduro. Not in the greatest shape, but we will fix that. We'll redo the paint job. On this also, I plan on installing, I have a Magura Thor, what is it? The MT140 fork for this, which can go between 100 and 140 millimeters of travel, I believe. And then I'm also partnering with Magura for other parts on this also. So this will be should be a fun build. But like I said, I'm still trying to collect all the parts I need to build up this one. But this should be a fun enduro, definitely not my style of riding. I'm a cross-country guy, but it should be a fun build. So that's in the works. I'd like to have that sometime this month. Let's see, what are some of the others? Some more asking about how-tos. Should I convert my Diamondback Ascent to a 1x10 drivetrain? Sure. It depends on how old and how much you want to spend. But I think if it's it makes it really easy if it's late 90s Diamondback Ascent or newer, because then typically you have at least an 8-speed rear cassette, which are easier to put a 10 speed. There's a lot of inexpensive options that I've used to keep it in and around $100 to make that conversion. What I have found is on some of my cranks you guys have seen, I've used wolf tooth chain rings on a few cranks. They're about the only 94 BCD crank chain rings that have narrow wide, which makes it really hard if you want to go 1x, if you've got that smaller original crank. If it's a 110, there's a lot more options out there, or a 104 BCD crank. So those are some of the options that are out there that make it easier. I've listed some of those parts that I've used on Amazon, but you can find similar things. It's fun to do. It's fun to do that type of conversion. Old road bike restorations. Yes, I will do some of those. In fact, I'm looking right now for a good like fixie. I want to do a track lacrosse build, and it's probably because I follow the Squid Bike folks quite a bit. I really like, one, their Squid Bike is the company who supplies sprayed out bike paint here in the US. So I look to them as kind of a partner also. And so Squid is really, the Squid Bike folks are big into the track lacrosse scene, and they've got their So Easy frame set. I want to do a kind of a cheap track lacrosse bike build is what I want to do. And I have some of what I need for that. I just need to find a good frame. But that said, I do have an old road bike that's in queue. I just need to feel the inspiration to go and do a restoration of it. I just get all excited about the mountain bikes. If I haven't said it before, like road biking is something I've done. I did it quite a bit in the past. But I like mountain biking so much more. I like the mountains. It's the same with running. I'm an avid runner, have been a runner since I was a kid. And I've ran marathons, ultra marathons. It's been a long time since I did both of those though. I was leaner and lighter back then. But I've always loved trail running much more than road running. And it's the same with the bikes. I like the change in scenery and the variety. And so I don't get as excited about a road bike. A few years back, I sold my road bike because I kept having friends ask me to go road biking with them, and I didn't have an excuse because I had a bike. And so I got rid of it so I could have that excuse. Well, I don't have a bike. But I do plan on doing some road bike builds. Hopefully I didn't offend too many people that way. Let's see, what are some of the other... I do have one other thing that my wife keeps wanting me to do or to get rid of. And I wonder if we'll go for a walk. We're gonna go for a walk. Okay. So my wife always wanted me, I have a truck that that needs some love. So we're walking to my front yard now. And let's see. So here, I'll stand up here. So I have a Tacoma. It's a 98 Toyota Tacoma that I've wanted to do a restoration of. I want to redo the paint. It's been banged up. I've got a 6-inch lift on it. It's a supercharged engine. In its good day, it was running about 350 horsepower. My son really would like to see this fixed up, but I want to do a paint job on this and also redo the suspension. It's got a FabTech suspension from way back when that's seen better days. It's a fun truck to drive. But I don't know, would you guys be interested in that? Would you guys be interested in seeing a bike truck restoration? So fixing up that. I got one yes from Eddie, other people. The thought scares me though. I've done lots of hear me. Absolutely yes. Yes. Lots of yeses. Do it. Bike truck, yes. Sure, why not? And here. So I've done, like I said, I've done mechanic stuff on cars out of necessity, but and a few times for fun. Like in the early 2000s, I had a Mitsubishi, a Montero, an '89 Montero, that I did an engine swap with an Mitsubishi Starion engine. So they both had like a 2.6 liter four-cylinder engine. I think it was 2.6. It might be bigger. It was a big 4-cylinder engine. The Starion had a supercharged version, a turbocharged version of it. So I did that swapped it over right around when I changed and moved, and I had some issues. I never quite got it going. The Tacoma though runs just fine. I need to replace. I need to either replace the clutch or replace the master or slave cylinder. I don't know. So restore the truck. So lots of yeses on the truck. So we'll probably look at doing that, maybe. But like I said, it kind of scares me. But I do want to do a paint job on it. But I do want to continue doing bike stuff. Let's see. The comments aren't reloading on my iPad here, so I'll have to look at lots of money. Yes, trucks are lots of money. Yeah, no, and that's what scares me too. Not if you do a lot of it yourself. I do want to try just a bed liner paint job. Restore a fat bike to match the truck. Marty McFly it. Tacos never die. That's true. It'll just go forever. T-shirts. Oh, someone's asking t-shirts. I do plan on doing some t-shirts. I haven't done merch type stuff because it takes it takes time to sort out. I am looking at doing some hats, and I'm working on that. Paint job from Sprayed Up Bike. I don't know. A Sprayed Up Bike paint job on a car. I don't know. I wonder if has anyone done that. That seems like a lot of spray cans. But I don't know. Stickers. I need to do all the merch stuff. I'm just not good at that stuff. I just need to make it happen. I tried to convince my oldest son, who's 18, to run my merch site. He's just started his first year of college, but yes, hats will be coming. I've started working with Tony Breeze, to do hats. So if you can look up his Instagram, he makes some cool hats, and I'm going to be working with him to do some Oldshovel hats. Or Tommy, not Tony, Tommy Breeze. Sorry, not Tony Breeze. Tommy Breeze. So those will be coming as soon as I can sort out getting. It's going to be patches and hats, and then I'll be doing shirts also probably after that soon. One of the things I wanted to know is other biking content. I've tried filming a few. It's actually a little bit different kind of filming and footage, but what was that? Any backstory on your channel name? I actually like that question. So the channel name Oldshovel, when I was wanting to start a channel, I went through several different name options. Oldshovel was the only one that my oldest son didn't think was lame. So it wasn't that he thought it was really cool, it's that he didn't think it was lame. A Kona truck. Sure, that'd be cool. But Oldshovel, it kind of comes from the thought behind that name was that several years ago, we were gardening in our backyard, and my wife had gone to like a big box store and bought a shovel, and the shovel lasted not even a few hours and totally broke the head. Like the steel was just so cheap it broke. And at the time, I had stolen or borrowed from my father-in-law, who was a farmer. My wife grew up on a farm up in Canada, and we had borrowed or acquired a shovel that belonged to them that was a forged shovel, just a regular garden shovel, spade. And since that time, I've actually found a few others similar to it from probably like the 70s, I don't know, that are forged shovels. So the shovel heads aren't even like pressed, they're forged completely. One of the early restorations I did on this channel, I did one of those shovels. And the thought is that a lot of times you can't buy items that are as good as what are old, and that it's worth fixing up some of those old things like this old shovel. So the thought is that a lot of times the best tool isn't a brand new tool, it's an old tool. And I've taken that into how I approach what I do on this channel. So the bikes that I do, a lot of times there's great bikes. One of the reasons I focus on steel bikes is their longevity, not just their ride quality. Because I do think now a lot of the aluminum carbon fiber bikes that they have a really great ride quality, but I don't see them having that same longevity that an old steel bike has from the 80s or 90s, and the new steel frame. So that doesn't mean that I shy away from aluminum. That's an aluminum frame. This one's an aluminum frame. But as we look at some of the old things that are done, they're worth restoring because of their longevity and quality of the build that they have. So yeah, steel is real. Coolest bikes made in tin. I don't think I've seen tin bikes before, but it sounds cool. So those are some of the things that I plan on doing on this channel coming up in the future. I will, the response you guys gave around the truck is encouraging. I will look at doing bike, doing the truck restoration. It means that I'll have to make a commitment to make it happen. An old BMX, yes. I do have a few. I just need to commit to getting them done. I have two that I have in queue. So there's lots of different things that I plan on doing. And a cricket tutorial. Yeah, so I'm gonna wrap this up now. Actually, I didn't want to go much over a half an hour today, but I'm looking forward to the next 100,000. It shouldn't take as long as the last 100,000. I wanted to thank all of you guys, all of you folks that watch, chime in, that have supported and made this a fun thing to do. I look forward to having more. Yes, I look forward to getting my silver play button. It hasn't come yet. I don't know how that works. Actually, I do kind of, but I don't. I don't know how long it takes for them to show up. An old red line. I do have an old red line BMX that will happen. So thank you all for watching tonight, for chiming in, sharing some of your thoughts and ideas. I will go through these more and more. Some tubeless, actually tubeless tips and tricks I do plan on doing, because with old wheels, I've learned a lot. Not just so you know, every build that I've done, the tubeless setup sometimes is hit or miss. Sometimes I need to redo the tape on some of them. I've got a few tips and tricks that I haven't shown or shared that are normally done after. Tubeless is more of an art form because each rim's a little bit different, and I've learned quite a bit doing the different rims. I was hesitant at first because I was still learning, but I've done enough now that I know what might work. So yeah, with that, I want to wrap this up. Thank you again. Thank you everybody for 100,000, and I look forward to 100,000 more, and maybe in a few years, 1 million would be awesome. I'm sure by then things will modify and morph even more, but continue to look for opportunities to give those old things new life, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks. Ciao.